Welcome back to another episode of the Nintendo Pipeline Podcast. I am CMM, and I'm going to be your host today. And with me, I have...
One Up Muffin, but you can call me Jared.
Oh boy. And we do have a special guest today, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Poochy.
Perfect. All right. Well, today we're here to talk all about Animal Crossing because today was the Animal Crossing New Horizons Direct that was promised from the last big Direct. It had stuff about the version 2.0 update that's coming out for Animal Crossing New Horizons, and it also introduced a paid DLC. Before we kind of get into all of it, we're going to kind of address the elephant in the room first very briefly. As part of the presentation, they revealed that the paid DLC is a bonus if you buy the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack. So instead of needing to pay the $25 for the expansion, you can use it for as long as you have an active membership. The thing that's going on today, however, is that the pricing was also revealed. So I felt it would be remiss if we didn't at least briefly mention it. But I know the family plan pricing with expansion pack is $80 in the US and individual is $50. We're gonna have another episode talking all about that fun stuff later, but figured it was worth mentioning now since it is part of the presentation. But we wanted to focus on all the fun stuff that came out of the Animal Crossing Direct itself because it was kind of overshadowed a bit by that news. So with that being said, let's first talk about the free content, which was pretty major. I guess we can start with the Roost. So we got this one was the part that was teased in the last major Direct that the Roost was coming back. What did you guys think about the Roost and some of the other free content in 2.0?
I've just been, coming into the Direct, a lot of the content updates they've made for New Horizons have been extremely anemic, so I really wasn't expecting that much going into it. Maybe like the Roost and a couple of other things. They haven't really released any major new content for the game in, I don't even know, months.
Since diving.
Yeah, and that was a year ago, if not more.
Yeah.
And, well, now we can clearly see why they haven't, because they've been saving it up for this, just looking through just this absolutely massive update, and it's really nice to see something just so comprehensive and massive.
Yeah, they both brought back a lot of the missing features from New Leaf and added new stuff as well. I was worried it would be mostly returning features, but they did a great mix of both.
Yeah, they did add a nice mixture of returning and new stuff. And I guess we can start kind of going down the list, I guess. So first thing is there are a lot of returning characters, and a lot of those characters are returning in the context of the redesign of Harvey's Island. Instead of it just being the photo studio now, you can kind of have an open market, and you can pay bells to build shops for the various visitors and some other extra characters. So there was some cool stuff here.
Definitely.
I wasn't expecting this.
I think Harv's Island was a really cool one. I never went to the photo island. I thought that was a really just useless location in the game. So making it now like a place I actually want to go, and another thing to spend bells on, which I just have so many of, will be a very welcome addition.
Yeah, I think, and especially just it's a really smart way to re-add all these characters in, because people have spent so much time fine-tuning this island, For a long time, I've heard people say, even if wanted new shops and stuff, at the same time, they didn't want it, because then that required them to have to format their island to fit them in. So just moving them all to Harv's Island, removes having to do that, and I think that's really smart.
It's a really smart way to bring back the city from 3DS version.
Yeah. It is kind of like Main Street on 3DS, and it's kind of like the city a little bit in City Folk, but definitely different vibe. I am happy that Tortimer's not dead.
He came back to life. He's a zombie now.
I'm glad to see Reese and Cyrus back in a more permanent capacity. And we saw Red in the background there, and obviously Kix and all of that. So
got Katrina back.
Yeah, Katrina being back was very important to me. It felt very weird not having her. So that actually is probably the thing that I'm most excited about out of the free content, just because it's like kind of another place to sort of develop, and there's like new and returning stuff there.
It's great to be able to spend bells on something that's not just more storage space or...
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I would have loved like an extra room, but I think this is a really nice way to just give us something else to work towards. Yeah,
and I also am glad they found a use for Harriet, who's now very hippified. I'm just going to decide that her and Harvey are like dating now. But yeah, she has some new hairstyles to give you as well.
Oh my gosh, I didn't notice her new outfit.
Yeah, her new outfit is really funny.
So amazing.
Another big thing that was in the data mine that finally kind of came to full fruition is the whole cooking and farming stuff.
This is my most hyped feature.
Yeah.
Same for the
now
free
we
stuff.
have DIY recipes plus, and you can make all kinds of different meals. And I like it. Like, I like it a lot. I just kind of wish that maybe there was like a museum display for them, or maybe you could
a kitchen museum. That would be cool.
Or like put them in the cafe. Something like that.
I that would have been really nice. Maybe that could have been a cool part of the Roost.
Yeah.
Like a nice display stand.
I think, though, also that with farming, just adding a new task to do daily, that just like...
be really nice.
Feels like
something else to do.
Good expansion on what Animal Crossing is.
Yeah, and I bet it'll be like very relaxed farming. I wouldn't expect your crops to like die or anything. It'll be like the
pumpkins. Yeah.
Yeah, it won't be anything like Stardew Valley.
Yeah, it's not so much that you really need to do anything with them after you like plant them and get them like watered up the first time, which I'm fine with.
Could we rewind back to the Roost for a second?
Sure.
Did they mention if you would actually do like the coffee job again, or is it just more of like a hangout spot this time?
It seems like just a hangout spot. Okay. There wasn't any any mention of the coffee.
That's fair. It looked fun. It looked like a fun space to come with your friends, like a little chat room, hook up your Wii Speak,
See, I actually really like that. So they've integrated the Amiibo cards and figures again more into the game, which I like, so that you can invite whoever you want to the Roost, which I think is a lot of fun with the Amiibo telephone.
It makes me want to get some Amiibo cards or Amiibos.
Yeah, especially the cards, like, they're cheap and they're pretty useful in New Horizons as it is, and they've added more ways that they're useful, and it's just kind of nice to have control in that way if you really want like specific characters to show up. They also can bring company, which I really like. I love that they can bring like somebody with them. They showed like the Able sisters all getting together for coffee, for example.
It's really cool to see those characters outside of their stores, shops.
Yeah. It was something that was nice about the Roost in New Leaf, where characters would randomly wander in. Like, you can talk to Phyllis in there after her day at work or whatever.
Oh, the only characters not returning are any of the male characters is so sad.
Yeah, the male people are gone. Copper and Booker aren't here still.
Blanca's gone.
There's a few others. I know it doesn't look like Tortimer's family is back.
Yeah, they brought back a lot, but we'll just give a brief shout out to those that didn't make it.
Yeah, a moment of mourning.
It's weird that Digby never came back.
Yeah, especially, I'm going to bring him up later, too, when we talk about the expansion.
Oh,
it's
right.
particularly weird that he's not there.
That is... Yeah, we'll talk about that more.
Yeah. So beyond the Roost and the open... the island expansion for Harvey's Island, we had the farming and cooking. We also have Cap'n. Mm-hmm. And I'm thrilled that Cap'n is back with his singing. And his version of the island tours are really neat, I think, too. As opposed to like the normal Nook Island tours that, they all have the pre-made islands and some are good for certain resources. Cap'n's are more like kind of exotic trips. So they showed some that had like special fauna in them, some that are different times of day and different seasons. So I think it makes the tour idea a bit more compelling, especially if you're looking to complete some of the like special DIYs that kind of come up during the year that aren't really tied to a specific holiday.
So can you get seasonal items through this? Well, they said like things will be different seasons, so I wonder if that means like, you can collect like bamboo in the off season.
They showed a scene with a snowy island, and there was snowflakes.
That's great. That's fantastic.
That is nice.
So I'm guessing you can probably build snowmen there too. I would be surprised if they didn't have like if the snowballs didn't spawn.
I guess seasonal fish too, which is like both cool for like a speedrunner, but also like I feel like it kind of like defeats a little bit of the purpose of Animal Crossing of like waiting for the years to go around.
Yeah, it's a little unclear in that regard. I wouldn't be surprised if you can catch that kind of seasonal stuff. But they also showed like, oh yeah, it's nighttime during a meteor shower, and there's already some of the star pieces on the ground.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think it's really nice that they added all this new variety to the tours, because when's the last time anyone went on a tour?
No, I got so bored of them so quickly.
I've barely ever gone on Nook tours.
They were pretty boring after first view, and these seem like pretty cool.
Yeah, they were basically only good for like getting iron before for like those early quests.
And then just after a certain point in the game, it's like,
I have every resource I've ever needed.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
and so... Oh, go ahead.
A nice other thing is that you were talking about before the different types of flora they added. And they added vines as one of those, which you can use to scale up cliffs, which is so nice.
So cool.
I love that.
So nice. No longer have to pull out the ladder so often.
Speaking of scaling cliffs...
And the other thing that I think would be good to mention now is they introduced some new features for outside living. And one of those features is the same function as the vine, which is the permanent ladder.
Such a cool feature.
Yeah, so not only are the inclines and bridges increased, but you can also craft ladders that you can permanently place to use to scale your island, so you don't have to use an incline or or whatever for every...
Or carry the ladder with you all the time if you want to get to like, weird spots.
Yeah.
I wonder what the ladder limit is. I don't think they told us.
I don't know if there is one.
Oh my god, infinite ladders. I can make my own version of Snakes and Ladders.
I'll make your own version of Donkey Kong. Every single surface will have a ladder attached to it.
Fantastic.
And another one of those new kind of quality of life things is you can build an outdoor shed, which gives you access to your home storage without having to go in the house and wait for it to load and then and then open up
super convenient
storage.
You can live outside now.
Yeah, I mean, you can. You can put items in and take items out. They only showed putting items in, but you can do both. And then there's also the bell dispenser, which the town hall has the special Nook Miles machine that has that built into it, but you can have one that's outside of the town hall that's just the bank deposit.
It's great to have just like an ATM from anywhere.
Yeah, so you don't have to go through that loading zone either.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff I was very happy to see. The only thing I think I wish that was there that isn't is when they started crafting that new tool, I was like, oh man, is it a toolbox? But or like maybe some kind of tool to like take out weeds faster. Or flowers.
The weed whacker would be a great tool.
Yeah, like the tiller or something. I'd be down to use that to get rid of flowers too.
I'm surprised there weren't any more online features.
Well, there were.
Which ones?
Well, we'll get to those because that's mostly with the expansion. But there are some, and there's a lot of stuff going on with that and the Nook phone, which we can get to.
Okay.
Another big thing, new ceiling furniture. I love this. Being able to hang lighting and stuff from the ceiling in the house, even shelves.
Yeah, that's really nice.
They added so much new stuff for the room building, and just all the pillars, the wall partitions, and of course we'll get more into it with the DLC. But all the stuff that not just
you can make the lighting more dynamic now.
Yeah, the dynamic lighting they've shown is just such a nice feature that was
Froggy
never
Chair.
possible. Yeah, Froggy Chair.
Froggy Chair is back. Stuff like the music box.
Froggy Chair.
It's great.
Froggy Chair.
The music box is great as well. That was in New Leaf and was
that's so cute.
Very fun.
Because that means there's music box versions of every single. So that brings the number. Every single KK Slider song has a live version, a recorded version, and a music box version.
Oh my gosh.
That is a lot of work.
And they added 12 more songs on top of it.
Yeah. That's honestly, like, kudos to the music team of New Leaf. I mean, of New Horizons and every Animal Crossing, but that is a lot of impressive work.
Yeah.
They even added new furniture items to get with Nook Miles, which is great because I have like 300,000 of those puppies. And they showed some of the stuff that was like what's his face, the badge guy in New Leaf, his like balloon cart, Phineas. Some of like Phineas's stuff is in there as some of the new furniture that you can redeem. And also new fences and fence customization.
Yeah, some cute bamboo ones.
I love all the fences they keep adding to the game.
Great for
they added nine new types of fences. That's very cool.
Yeah, fences around your new crops, around some playgrounds.
Yeah, and also being able to customize the color of the regular fences at long. Everyone wanted those white picket fences and couldn't have them now. Now you can have them in a lot of different colors. And of course, other stuff too, like the new hairstyles. You can buy a few of them, and then Harriet does some of the others. There are some pretty cool options there. I think they said there's 11. Yeah, 11. As well as new reactions, which is always good. I think there's 11 of those as well. Just a lot of cool new content additions across the game's varying categories.
Yeah, I think that's part of just what makes it so impressive is just how comprehensive overall. Just like there's so many new features in every part of the game, and
there's a little something for everyone.
Yeah, like if you dig patterns and wallpapers, now you can put a wallpaper on a single side of the wall, or like on one wall.
What a good
feature. I really like. Yeah. I think you can apply like custom designs to your clothing now through that app and stuff. A lot of little convenience things. The accent wall thing is super cool. I'm stoked about that. Because that was always such a thing to me. It was like, you have a wallpaper, but it doesn't fit entirely with what you're going for.
Yeah.
So that's a great little bonus. And then the camera has been upgraded. So the camera now has a first-person camera mode, which is kind of funny. You can kind of walk around the island like that.
You're still just facing upwards, though.
It's
funny.
Did you see the edit that added the Doom interface, the Doom UI over it? It's very funny. Good.
That's great. The first-person phone or camera is great, but actually, I think the more significant thing here is the tripod, because it's so annoying setting up photos in this game.
Yeah.
The animals constantly walk away or look away, or you can't get close enough, or you can't move the camera quite as far as you need to within the boundaries that it lets you move it. It's so annoying. And so now you have this tripod mode where you can actually get up close, set it up, and then it move and be in the picture, and it'd be a better up close photograph, which I think is really fun. That will definitely get me to use that more, because most of the time I'm just like, I don't need to open the camera app. I can just do the capture button and call it a day.
Yeah.
But
I took so many photos when the game first came out. Like, my Switch was just filled with them.
I shared this recently elsewhere, but recently I hit the max number of photos and videos that you can store on the Switch's album.
Oh, wow.
And for anyone wondering, it is 1,000 on internal memory and 10,000 on SD card.
That's a lot.
And a lot of those photos are Animal Crossing. I dumped them all recently, and now I have a fresh set of slots to start spamming photos again in Animal Crossing. There's a couple other small things here that I'd want to bring up before we move into the expansion. But one of those big things, actually, is Gyroids are back.
And cuter than ever.
Oh, the new designs are so nice.
They're little mini gyroids this time.
Yeah, they have been shrunk, and they are customizable, which is very cool. Lots of different color options for them. And this time, they've added a little thing where now, when you dig them up, a lot of the times they're actually fragments. And if you water the fragments, they grow the next day into a full gyroid. I don't know if there are any limits for how many gyroids can be in a room. I know past games have had limits.
So was the only game with no limits the GameCube one? That one had no gyroid limits, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember.
Because I'm reading this guide. It says, or the Nintendo Life article, it says it looks like the limit will be at least 7, because they showed 7 in one shot.
Well, in the shot that they have there's 8 in the picture.
Oh, I guess it's 8 at least.
Yeah,
it's at least.
I'm just reading their article.
Well, I'm guessing they missed the one in the bottom right corner.
Yeah, the little fragment.
It's hard to say, yeah.
But that's a huge thing that people wanted. I mean, in terms of stuff that I was looking for today, like in terms of like what reasonably are they going to add, I was like, all right, we're going to see the roost. We're going to have more villagers because the Amiibo cards. The only other thing I'm really looking for is gyroids. And then anything else.
Such a cute collectible thing.
Yeah, anything else
so
is whatever. And they obviously did much more than that, but the gyroid feature is fully back and, there, which is great. We also have stretching, which is the aerobics stuff from the GameCube game. And you can do that with either button or motion controls, which I love.
So great, yeah.
I was saying earlier that I hope that there's some like old lady or somebody who plays this game and does their like daily stretches with the Animal Crossing aerobics tape deck. I think it would be really cute.
And you can do it online.
You can, and it has a bunch of special characters, and all your villagers show up too. I really wish that Copper and Booker made it here as like fitness instructors, because they did the aerobics back in GameCube.
Oh, that's great.
But beyond that, there's some other nice things, like villagers being able to visit you again.
Mm-hmm. Villagers felt very stiff in New Horizons, and I feel like this is going to make them a lot more lively and like they're little creatures living in your Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I know a common complaint has been like the dialogues haven't been as great, and they have been slowly adding more to the dialogue of the villagers, so I'm hoping to see that too this time, because that would be nice. And also, you know, they can invite you over too and stuff like that, and that's always cute. Something that they added as well, another small quality of life thing that I'm surprised wasn't here earlier, was the half tiles being able to scoot between furniture. That was a big cool thing from Happy Home Designer that made it into New Leaf and was not present in New Horizons.
Yeah, it's really weird that it wasn't there before, but you know, it's good that they're recidifying it.
I forgot it was in New Leaf.
Yeah, it was only part of the update, but
welcome Amiibo.
It's from Happy Home Designer.
Cool.
I mean, when they ended up doing the update,
a lot of the stuff that's become commonplace in the game now was originally from Happy Home Designer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Innovative.
a lot of that fun quality of life stuff. The only thing I'm gonna say it right now. Doesn't look like Animal Crossing Puzzle League is back. Rip.
Very, very sad. And no NES games.
But they did add that at least, which is nice. And then they also I wanted to talk too about because there's other stuff here that I actually completely forgot about. More storage, which is nice. You can go up to 5,000 now. House exteriors, more of them, which is great. The island ordinances are back. Mm. I'm a big fan of the island ordinances, and it was something that was weirdly missing this time.
I know which ordinance you'll use.
What? Which one?
Night Owl.
Yeah. So, for anyone who's not familiar or hasn't played the previous games, ordinances are kind of like a rule set that applies over your whole town. And you can have one of them at any time. And it's the same ones as in New Leaf. So, Early Bird and Night Owl will make it so that villagers and shops are open either earlier or later. Beautiful Island is here again if you want to keep weeds from showing up or make it easier to make, you know, your island naturally beautiful. And then there's Bell Boom, which just your stuff is worth more because reasons. So
Economy.
Those are the different types.
But
what was that?
Oh, it's just never mind.
Okay.
I think with the ordinances, I am a little disappointed that they're just like flat out the exact same ones from.
It would have been cool to see a few new ones.
Yeah, before New Horizons was announced, I was thinking it'd be cool they could expand on the ordinances by maybe adding, even being able to set like multiple policies at the same time, create some sort of agenda, and maybe that'd get too close to being like a full-fledged city manager, but I just think something like that would be cool. But just having them back in general it's nice.
Yeah, I'm glad to see them back. I do wish there were maybe some more, or that you could have like 2 at a time. Because I mean, I think I know I personally would do Night Owl and Beautiful Island. Those are the 2 that I want. But I am glad to see them back, thankfully. And then there's also the Island Life 101 app, which is probably going to be good for beginners. who aren't. I mean, obviously, at this point, right? The game launched with like a lot of stuff going on. It's gotten more stuff going on, and now it's getting a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
so it might
stuff
be
that like the
wild.
2-week tutorial doesn't cover.
Yeah. So that's very cool. And that's mostly it for the free stuff, which I say mostly it, but there's a lot. It's kind of wild.
If we missed your favorite feature, let us know, and let us know what your favorite feature is.
Yeah, and also, before we move on to the paid content, I just wanted to get everyone's... How does everyone... So, they've said in this direct that this is the last major free content update for the game. So, with that being said, and seeing the free content here, how do you guys feel about the state of the game as it is now, and pretty much its final form, in terms of the free stuff?
I think it feels... Go ahead, Poochy.
I think it's still maybe a bit early to say before, getting time to digest these new features and see, like, how long-term they will be in reviving, interest in the game and keeping you coming back. But, with stuff like farming as a new thing to do daily and, all the different shops, definitely think it's in a much, much better place than it was even, yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the game feels much more complete now. Obviously, there was a lot of great new features, but there was also a lot missing from previous games, specifically New Leaf. Mm-hmm. I feel like pretty much all the big ones are back now, plus more stuff. So it feels like a much more well-rounded and complete experience. I haven't played Animal Crossing for months, so this will get me back in, and that's what I wanted.
Yeah, I agree with that. Is there anything in terms of like free content or other stuff that you would have liked to have seen this game get that it doesn't seem to be getting at this point? Is there anything like... Yeah, I guess that's my question. Is there anything that you guys think that that you guys would want that's not in the game?
I would love more Nintendo things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Only bringing back the Mario stuff is kind of disappointing. Mm-hmm. Just not bringing back the fortune cookies in general. Even if you couldn't use them with play coins, just make them, I don't know. They were in the previous games, right? Before New Leaf?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were just...
Yeah, there were like raffles. You can get like an R-Wing from a raffle in one of the games. Maybe
yeah,
even
so
GameCube?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Also, Puzzle League being back would have been great.
Yeah.
I also would not have been upset to see Desert Island come back again too, just because like it's cool as it is. So
the one good thing about
Amiibo
Festival.
I would have loved having like Cap'n taking us to like a private island where we could have like added like a second house. I think that would have been a really nice addition to the game.
I think for me, the only thing that's kind of really missing for me is a little bit of better integration of some of the new stuff. Specifically, like, there's a bunch of food DIYs now, and you can make food and use it to decorate like your house and stuff, but there's not really something like comprehensive for food. And the same with gyroids. I feel like it would be really cool to have like a gyroid like hunter app or something where you could try to collect every single one and see which ones you've gotten.
Or
and maybe
integrate...
even preview their sounds or something.
Yeah, that would have been awesome to make gyroids like a more like museum like collectible, and like food would be a cool like additional like task that like animals can give you. Maybe an animal goes, "I'm hungry, can you make me something?"
Yeah,
and then you make them like a food or something.
Maybe that will be a thing.
Yeah,
we don't really know yet, but it would be cool if they would want you to make food for them as a sort of like kind of like almost like the job system from GameCube, where you could ask them if they wanted something.
And we said it earlier, but I really miss the post office and those people.
Yeah.
Just a really cute feature, having like the mail physically delivered in the game It was one of those like small touches that made the game feel more alive.
Yeah, I would have been down for the mail office people to show up on Harvey's Island, and maybe you could get like new postcard styles from them to use at the airport. Again, there's so many different things that you can conjure up and think of, but overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the game
overall fantastic. Exceeded expectations.
Yeah. And I don't think it's, even if there are some things from the previous games that we would like to see back, I don't think it's, we couldn't expect every single thing to return from the previous games, plus all this new stuff to be added. So
absolutely.
I mean, at this point, it was understandable at launch. There was, a massive amount of stuff missing from New Leaf, and, in a lot of ways, the new content they had in New Horizons wasn't as sustainable. And so, it is nice to see that bring back all that stuff, plus adding in new stuff, and think, game's in a really nice place now.
For sure.
Yeah. So that being said, we're going to shift gears, because that wasn't the only thing we saw today. And actually what we were talking about was only like 10 minutes.
Minutes. When that ended, I was like, well, aren't we here for 20 minutes? What's happening?
Yeah.
Get to the better parts.
The
for me, personally.
The second half is Animal Crossing is getting its first paid DLC for $25. It is called Happy Home Paradise, and if you are familiar at all with Happy Home Designer, that is pretty much what you're getting here, but integrated into the actual Animal Crossing game.
Which is so smart, which is what people wanted from Happy Home Designer.
If you're not familiar with Happy Home Designer, pretty much in this game's version of it, you go to a special group of islands where Lottie and her home design crew are, and you need to build custom vacation homes for animals according to their desires and the items that they want in them, and then you can kind of just do whatever you want as well. So let's talk about this for a second. So first off, you have this group of islands, and when you go to make an animal a house, there's this map, and the map is actually like the GameCube Animal Crossing map, which I thought was cute. You pick a spot for them to be at, and that spot can be all kinds of different, types of locations, because you're going to be designing not only the inside of their house, but also the outside of their house. So this is a more, I guess, more objective-based kind of sub-mode in Animal Crossing.
It's a whole new game.
Yeah, it's basically another game.
This is a second video game within New Horizons, which is $25. That is a steal.
I mean, pretty much it's just a sequel to Happy Home Designer.
Yeah,
and
it looks like you can get at least like I would guess like 50 or more hours out of this. Like looks massive.
Yeah.
That's about as much time as I got out Happy Home Designer. Yeah, it's just a really. Personally, I really loved Happy Home Designer even more than the mainline games, because I just really love designing these intricate homes, and just seeing. I was really not expecting, a sequel. A sequel to that, and especially not just as, a DLC.
I had never played the original one, but I would love to try this.
I did play the original one. I didn't finish it, but I did enjoy it. And so, I wasn't expecting it. But, for a while now, I guess to address this too, there's been rumors flying around for a while now that there was some sort of Animal Crossing like expansion or paid content coming. And this is what it is. So you go to this island. We got some new characters besides Lottie, who's back from Happy Home Designer. We have Wardle, who's a manatee, and we have Nico, who is this cute little monkey lemur thing, who's helping out. But weirdly, there are no Lyle or Digby, which were in Happy Home Designer. So that's kind of curious.
Lottie got them fired.
Yeah, kinda. So they've added a lot of stuff over Happy Home Designer to this in terms of the designing aspect. So you could design outdoor spaces in Happy Home Designer as well, and move the house around and stuff. But now you can actually make paths, which I think is super cool, and make fences. And more importantly, on the inside of houses, one of the major new elements here is wall partitions.
Mm-hmm.
It's such...
It reminds me a lot of The Sims, which is really interesting.
Yeah, that's what my sister said, too. It was like, oh man, it's like The Sims.
It is a really good addition, wall partitions. They, just looking at all the spaces that they showed in the Direct, they really do add a lot.
Yeah, they do. And, and there's a lot of times, like, where I've been like, oh, this room can have this and this, but like it doesn't feel correct, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But the partitions and pillars, are a big, cool new thing in terms of making the indoor spaces feel more unique.
Mm-hmm.
And something else that goes on in the inside of houses is that you can adjust the lighting. There's dynamic lighting with different colors. Different degrees of, how dim it is. And there is the ability to use soundscapes, which is also from Happy Home Designer, where you can have, like, sound backdrops on rooms.
Like, you can make it sound like a coffee shop or something.
Yeah, or you can make it sound like the beach, or there's the construction one that they showed.
I always use the rain one in Happy Home Designer.
I like the rain. I like the rain one. And not only that, but importantly here, the stuff that we just mentioned, such as the partitions and the pillars and the soundscapes lighting, by playing through the Happy Home Paradise expansion, you eventually get the ability to bring that stuff with you to your island. So it connects back into the game in a meaningful way. So that is a big benefit as well. Like, even if you're not necessarily super interested in the Happy Home Paradise or Happy Home Designer style of play, playing through it does give you stuff for your actual island.
Yeah, this will make islands... I mean, it's already astounding what people do with Animal Crossing New Horizons who are, like, creative. Not me. But other people.
Yeah, no, not me either.
But this will... I am so excited to see what people can do with these new features. Like, there will be some absolutely breathtaking, like, homes and things.
There already are.
Yeah. Previews. And even more so, yeah.
I was really surprised by when they were showing off the light level stuff.
Yeah.
And, New Horizons has always had dynamic lighting, but they didn't really do anything with it. You know, the previous games didn't have dynamic lighting. So, actually being able to use that to really change how your rooms look and such, it is such a nice feature.
And when you're doing these renovations for animals, you can also change the room size, the width and the length. And outside, you can actually change the season, the weather, the time of day. You can manipulate all forces of nature on this special set of islands.
They have finalized Animal Crossing's journey to godhood.
Yeah, it's kind of like, outside of, like, sending characters to work, it's pretty much Sims. Like...
but you can even... They said if you get far enough in Happy Home, you can legitimately just change people's houses as much as you want. Which, again, I don't know how I feel about that one, but it's good for people who like doing the creative stuff. But for me, it's like, no, I want the animals to make their own houses.
I like it. I'm gonna change all of them.
So, like, with regard to that feature, so not only can you redesign the animals' houses on the islands after a while if you choose to, but you're able to actually suggest a home renovation for the animals that live on your island. And I think this will be particularly useful for people like me who never those first couple of villagers that you build houses for that have the generic
the boring
layouts.
Houses.
Those in particular, I think it'll be nice so that you don't have to like kick them off the island and re-invite them so they have an actual house.
Yeah.
I mean, theoretically, with that feature, you'd be able to customize the exteriors for them as well, which is cool. So if you wanted,
Alright, go on.
Or I was gonna say, so if you wanted, like, say, like your island has like this forest feel or woodsy feel, you could make everyone's house like a log cabin if you wanted to.
That is really nice.
Stuff like that helps you make more
cool.
of the aesthetic for your island that you're going for. And what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, how does the roommate system work? Was that in Happy Home Designer? Because they said
That
like
was not.
once houses are made, you can kind of like do them again, but with a roommate to kind of get, I guess, like change the objectives.
Happy Home Designer did have a feature where like you could go back to people, like once you've already made it the first time, then they may request, okay, change it up a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the roommate feature is, cool. And
that's new.
So
Yeah,
I guess you have to make them both happy, right?
Yeah.
Or do we not know?
I don't think it hasn't
seems
showed,
like.
but it's
That's
probably,
what it seems like,
That's really interesting. So now you have to build a house not only with one animal's taste in mind, but two.
Yeah. I think that's a really cool twist on the Happy Home Designer formula.
Yeah.
It also lets you have more animals on those islands than if you were to just have a single house for every animal.
Yeah. There's so many houses
too.
Like I really wonder how long it'll take to finish that map.
Oh, there's 400 plus villagers.
I know the map has is divided into acres essentially, like the GameCube one. So if I remember correctly, you can have one house in each spot. So you can find out pretty quickly with some math.
I'm not sure that's the case.
Oh, really?
Because in Happy Home Designer, each spot was just kind of like the environment for it, and you could put multiple houses in the same spot.
And this would seem like they were permanent, but I could be wrong.
I hope it's like
maybe I'm wrong, but I
think it'd be cooler if they're permanent, so you can like go back to them and know where
if
they
it's
are.
Like Happy Home Designer, then the map is more of an abstraction for an environment picker. But
Gotcha.
We'll see.
You can.
Curious.
I guess this is a good point to mention that once you build a house, obviously you can share it online. There is a Happy Home Network app, and this was a big part of the original Happy Home Designer. But you could show off your houses online. There'll be like a preview picture, but you can actually tour them and see what other people have done, which is cool. And it looks like this time you can jump right from your phone app into a house tour without even having to like load into that whole like Happy Home like section of the map. And you can visit your people, you can visit your friends' people, you can visit random people. And that's super cool. I'm glad to see that back. One thing they didn't mention that I hope to maybe see is something that I really liked about Happy Home Designer is they had online design contests. In that game, where like you'd have like a month period to make something within a certain theme, and people would kind of like give it likes or whatever.
That's cool.
And you get to use some special furniture like during those that you would then get for being able to use elsewhere. So that'd be cool if that's back. I mean, if not, it's not like there isn't already enough content there. And on top of that, the other big thing from Happy Home Designer returns, which is the facilities. You can make a school, you can make a hospital, you can make, there's a bunch of different
cool.
ones.
Those were my favorite parts about Happy Home Designer, so excited to take another.
Loved that. And it seems like that part of the map you can walk around kind of like in Happy Home Designer. There's like that one area that you can kind of like walk around that has all the facilities.
Mm-hmm.
My only sadness about that is that you cannot build those facilities on your own island.
That's fair.
Obviously, that wouldn't work for some people in terms of like, they already have their whole islands plotted out and stuff. But it would be really cool to be able to build a school on your actual island.
I'd love to have like a rec center or something.
Yeah, or like a
Put
gym
basketball
or
courts
whatever.
up, have an arcade.
That was actually something I wanted for this game when it was first shown off, was to be able to have like those sort of facility buildings like that were in Happy Home Designer, and actually get to build them on your island and have the animals come in and visit and do stuff in them. Because it's actually really fun in Happy Home Designer, because when you go to those buildings, the animals populate them. So they're all like using,
that's so cool,
the different stuff that you made and laid out, and it's super cool. Like, they're the most fun to me, because it's like, obviously you can build a house for an animal, but it's also cool to be able to use the furniture in a different way, to make more of a space, or like a public space. So that's a little disappointing to me, that you can't build them in the main game, unless that's like a secret thing later when you get through. Who knows? It would be a little weird because there's so much from Happy Home Paradise that transfers into the main game, and those not transferring into the main game is kind of weird.
Yeah, maybe that's like a secret feature. It would be awesome.
That
would be really cool. And also, something minor here, forgot to mention, there's the polishing feature, which I think is super cute. If you polish furniture, it'll get an additional effect. So sometimes it's a shine, but other times it's not just like a shining effect. It's like if you polish, the flowers or whatever, like butterflies spawn around them.
It's such a cute little feature. Just like,
yeah,
no one would have ever thought about that, but it's just like, yeah, that's really nice.
And there's different degrees of polish as well. It kind of seems like everything has like 3 stages of polish. So you can kind of get as much or as little of the effect as you want to. And that is something that you can eventually bring back to your island, which is awesome. Everything between the customization of the items that you normally have, the new items that they're adding, now Recent Cyrus will let you customize items that traditionally you would need to like trade with other people in other towns for, and the half spaces and the accent walls and the partitions and pillars and soundscapes. Now you can polish items, and each item has a unique, or at least somewhat unique, flourish that differentiates them as well. They've really sort of just like upped the number of options and creativity to like 20 here.
Yeah, there's gonna be some insane new towns and rooms once the update drops. Really excited to see them.
I can't wait to see that.
There's another one that we're missing. There's some new Amiibo cards.
There are actually. Before we get to that,
okay.
There's one more other thing that I wanted to touch on, and that is you get paid for your work in this expansion. You get Poochy, whatever that is, and there is a shop in here, kind of like Tortimer's Island shop in New Leaf. And this currency you can use to buy special furniture that's supposed to be like rarer, harder to find on your main island. So like, it's cool that on top of, there's a pretty cool progression here. On top of seeing the island paradise that you're building grow in terms of houses, in terms of facilities, and then getting the ability to do some of those things that you can do there in your home island, you also get paid for every job, and you can use that to buy furniture. So it all kind of feeds into itself. And I think that's awesome. Because I think a lot of the opinion around the time that Happy Home Designer came out, which was addressed to a point in the Welcome Amiibo update for New Leaf, is we love this stuff, but we want to be able to do it on our island. So now that it's actually integrated into a main series game, that's so much more possible.
Yeah, definitely. And I think just really shows just how many times of refinement, because, Happy Home Designer was based off the mechanics of New Leaf, and then New Horizons already took a lot of elements from Happy Home Designer, and then this not only adds in the rest of the elements, but also adds in, all these different new ones, light levels, partitions, all that, and
the ceiling furniture as well.
Yeah, it's just such a really great advancement of home decorating in the series.
Yeah, and also, there's a new item that you can craft that, I believe, I don't know if it's the new item that does this or if it's something else, but basically you can give the villagers that live on your island a vacation home too. They'll ask you for one at some point, which is cute. Or, and this is where what Jared was saying comes in, you can use Amiibo cards to summon characters and figures, to summon characters and special characters to this new paradise and build houses for them. And this was something that was cool about Happy Home Designer, is you could build a house for Isabel, or build a house for Tom Nook or whoever, KK, and now you can do that here.
And so there's a Bigsby amiibo, so that just not work here?
We don't know. They might have added more support for some special characters. We won't really know until people try it, because in the main game, as you know, if you scan the amiibo in, you also get access to a poster from the character that you scan in, and only the characters that are supported, obviously, you get anything from. So I think it would be awesome if they made it so that all of the characters who have amiibo or amiibo cards that aren't supported are now with this final update, or final major update. But again, it's another very good integration of the amiibo stuff into this game in a way that makes sense, and I don't think it feels like cash grabby or unnatural or weird. Obviously it's kind of weird because okay, yeah, scan your amiibo, this person shows up, but it gives you control. And I think obviously the cards in particular are very cheap. So
do any of you have amiibo cards?
I have a single.
I would like some.
Have a lot. So they.
How did you get a full set? Did you just open a million packages?
There's someone I know. She's been on the podcast before. Nintendo fangirl. She has full set for amiibo cards, all 4 series, and I'm guessing probably the ones that were the campers in for Welcome Amiibo as well. You got real lucky with that, because basically how the cards work, for anyone who hasn't gotten them before and might be interested, is each card pack has 6 cards in it. 5 of them are standard villagers, and one of them is this kind of shiny-ish lenticular special villager card. So you're always guaranteed to get a special villager like Tom Nook or Isabel or whoever in those packs, on top of 5 villagers. They're all random. And I believe the card packs are $5.99, so basically $1 a card. So you can you can go through and get all of them if you're insane. I believe the first 4 series are 400 by themselves. The Welcome Amiibo ones added another around 50, and this adds another 48. So basically we're at 500.
Someone might say that's a lot of cards to collect.
Yeah, and also these cards include new animals that they're adding to the game. So New Horizons added I want to say maybe 7 new villagers initially to the pool on top of returning ones. They are now adding more villagers into the game. Some new, some returning.
They said some are only seen in Japanese Animal Crossing before, which is really interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, because I believe not all the villagers from Animal Forest 64 were in the GameCube game.
Yeah.
And so those are the ones that are now appearing.
Characters such as Chabwick, Zoe, Ace, Rio, Fret, Azalea, Roswell, and Faith are the ones that were never in a non-Japanese Animal Crossing.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were some of the ones, maybe, I can't remember. So we had the Japanese version of Animal Crossing GameCube for them also had some extra stuff in it that we didn't get. Stuff like being able to knock on Tom Nook's door after he's closed and stuff like that. And I can't remember if they added villagers in that as well, but maybe some of those are from there. But yeah, so they added new villagers as well, and special cards for all the new special people like Flick and, Chip or not Chip, CJ. I always say Chip. And I think people are already speculating that Wardell is related to Wendell, which I hope so, because I love Wendell. He's not here, sadly.
Oh yeah, Flick is gonna get an amiibo card.
Yep. I do hope that maybe eventually we get figurines for them too. At least the special ones. I dig them. I know people, obviously they're tied to Amiibo Festival and people obviously have feelings about that game, but I actually really enjoyed the figures themselves.
Yeah, I feel like Amiibo Festival probably killed off the chance of getting any more full-fledged.
Yeah.
Animal
but at the
Crossing
least,
Amiibo?
At the least, you can they still have the cards for everyone, so you're going to get it in some form or another. No mention of if the Zelda items or like the characters that were special characters from Welcome Amiibo will be back. Like if you scanned the Ganondorf Amiibo, you got Ganon,
that's
the villager.
So cool.
Those
I hope so.
touches.
It would be very cute if those characters made it back. I don't know if that they will, but there are villager characters based on Nintendo characters as well. I know there's a Wolf-Link one.
There was Wolf-Link, Ganondorf, Octavio, who he wasn't like a Splatoon character specifically, but he was similar. Oh, there was Callie and Marie.
Yep.
That might have been it.
Yeah, Callie and Maria. And there was only a couple, but it would be cute if they made it back. Mm-hmm. I think, do you guys have any, out of the ones they've shown so far, for new villagers or new returning villagers, or special villager characters, do you guys have any particular favorites?
For the new Amiibo cards?
Yeah, or just the new characters they're adding in the game.
For the new characters, look at them. I really like Nico. He looks cool.
I love Nico. Nico's great. Nico's the little monkey for anyone who's not aware.
There is one thing that does bother me a little bit, though.
Yeah.
The movie that came out recently with the monkey, voiced by Lin-Manuel Miranda?
No. I do not. I'm not familiar with that.
One second. It came out it was called Vivo, and let me post a picture of the monkey in chat. It looks way too similar.
Oh.
Look at it.
Oh. Yeah, a bit.
They even have the hat. They even have the hat. It reminds me too much of that. Yeah. It's mainly the hat, but I still like it. Still like Nico.
I like the robot, from what I see. The octopus
Cephalobot.
Robot. Yeah, he's pretty cool.
I'm a big fan of Marlo. I think it's the funniest thing.
Which one is that? Oh,
Marlo the
one.
Hamster, who is very clearly Marlo Brando.
Oh, that's funny.
Marlon Brando, excuse me. I think that's the funniest thing in the world. So I've had a spot open on my island still, that I've been waiting to have a special character move into, and I wanted it to be someone that was added in this game because I don't have any characters that were added for this game. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be Marlo. I think that's my pick. But yeah, so that mostly covers the expansion. It's $25 in the United States, or if you have the expansion pack, you get it for free. Well, you are able to use it so long as your subscription is active. And
so that means if you unsubscribe...
Yeah, we'll go more into
curious,
that in another episode.
I'm just curious how the features work within the game. Like, if you unsubscribe, can you just not edit the features?
They did clarify what works, and pretty much you can't go to the island expansion if you don't have the DLC, but any furniture or items or features that you got from it will work.
Oh, that's cool. That's
it's not like your partitions or your ability to do custom lighting disappears.
Yeah, or they just become stuck.
Yeah, you cannot go to the island paradise and make homes or see homes.
I mean, like, NSO stuff aside, like, that's for another episode, but I think $25 for this expansion pack is a fantastic price.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad price. I think it would have been even stronger at a $20 price point, but I'm not really too concerned about the $5 here. I think it's a massive amount of content, especially since it's basically another game, essentially, instead of this one with more meaningful connections to the main game. And everything kind of just integrates.
Actually, how you were saying that was integrating. Don't want to go on too long a tangent about this, but I think that's something that this game's updates, especially this update and the DLC, does so right that I think a lot of Nintendo's post-launch updates haven't done very well, is just using the post-launch time to add new content and kind of round out the entire experience as a whole. And, if you look at games like, Mario Tennis Aces or Kirby Star Allies, they add some really cool content to the game post-launch. Star Allies, they added all the guest star characters and all the heroes in another dimension. But if you look at the main game, just the base game from launch, it's basically untouched, and it feels really
weird,
lackluster in comparison to all the new stuff. And similarly to in Mario Tennis Aces, you can really feel the rough edges of like the adventure mode, and there's only 5 courts in the game, and like they never bothered to add, they add more, side modes and more characters and stuff, and those things are really cool, but there's certain aspects where you wish, maybe wish they rounded out the game a lot more as a whole, integrated it all better, and, that's the thing I think just seeing here, they did really well with New Horizons.
Yeah, I think that's actually also very apt with Mario Golf recently, which is they're adding new courses and stuff, but none of that adventure mode just is going to stay the same.
Right.
And it would be cool to see that content like integrated into adventure mode as like post-game content or something.
That would be very nice.
Something where it feels like spread across the whole experience. So I definitely get what you're saying there.
I don't think it's necessary per se, but I really like that New Horizons is doing it. And
I do too.
Splatoon 2 also did a good job at that.
Yeah, Splatoon 2 I think also works easier in terms of integrating all this stuff because it's primarily a multiplayer experience, so you're adding content that's primarily made to be consumed in multiplayer. So they kind of like brought up the multiplayer features with the new maps and new weapons and stuff like that. Your Kirby example I think was also good because one thing I was always like, and I think I checked the first time they released a DLC, was like, okay, I want to go through story mode as Marks, but you can't go through story mode as Marks. You can summon him as a dream ally in the main game, but you can't just choose to play as him or whatever. And it's one of those things that's kind of like weird. Like you love the new content, want to play with the characters, but it's not integrated. Animal Crossing does it different, where it's all integrated throughout the whole game. And I hope, fingers crossed, that maybe Facilities will make it as well, but we'll see. Final thoughts on the expansion, final thoughts on this direct. I guess we can start with Poochy since they're our guest today.
I think just overall, it's for a game, New Horizons, for a lot of its life, it just kind of felt really lacking after the very first 2 months, once everyone realized a lot of lacking in long-term investment to the game. And personally, I didn't have much long-term investment in it either after the first 2 months or so. It's been a long time since I played the game, and so it's really nice to see that the year of almost no updates, good to see that it all went to something really big, all-encompassing. A lot of attention to detail really shows that this whole time they really cared about making the game something so much better and really an advancement for the series.
Yeah.
I agree. I really appreciate this style of welcome amiibo giant update that really was going to get me back in the game. While if they did like a series of small updates, I might not have cared as much about going back.
Yeah, I mean, the intention of this is really to bring people back to the game who might have lapsed, and to bring people who were not originally interested. Now that there's more stuff going on, and I guess a good wrap-up question too is: do you think that this achieves that?
Yeah.
Based on what they've shown, obviously. Because I think it can and will, especially with some of the major content updates.
Definitely.
I think this would probably excite people who played previous Animal Crossings and were not yet sold on New Horizons. I feel like this might give them that second, like, oh, wow, there's a lot here now.
And also just seeing from all the people, that I follow on Twitter and such, like the reaction and the reception to it has been, like universally really positive, which I did not expect at all.
Yeah, I was not expecting it either.
Yeah.
The NSO topic aside,
the
actual content of the Animal Crossing updates themselves has seemed to have gone over very well, which is cool, and I'm very happy about it too. It's more than I was expecting by a lot. But yeah, so this will be out on November 5th. The 2.0 update and the DLC launches on November 5th. It's very soon. We have Pokemon coming out in November, and we have the Zelda Game & Watch coming out in November, but now we kind of have like an Animal Crossing relaunch happening in November too. So I think that's really cool. Yeah. I think the last thing I'll say on this is my only sadness is it doesn't look like you can craft from storage or craft multiple things at once, and it doesn't. There's no item that lets you put duplicate DIYs in a book. So they're still littered across my island ground. So that's just kind of how it's going to be for a while. But yeah. So this has been a lovely another episode of the podcast. We're at episode 25 now. We've that's kind of a milestone, I guess.
Quarter of 100. That's a big deal.
Quarter of 100. To give you guys an idea, we do have a bunch of episodes lined up for the next several weeks. You will be, seeing an NSO episode soon, a Metroid episode soon, all that fun stuff.
Hopefully Mario Party.
Yep, Mario Party as well. So we'll have that coming. Another note is, obviously, if you're listening to this, you have found us in some place, but you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all sorts of different places. I looked at the stats the other day, and a lot of you are listening on Apple Podcasts, which is not surprising, but is still cool to see. So thank you again for listening. We do have a community blog that is nintendopipeline.wordpress.com. We have some community articles and features over there, and it is updated occasionally, but in the meantime, you can check out the huge backlog of stuff that we have on there. Everything from reviews to Mario Maker stages to all kinds of fun stuff. We do have the Discord as well. Definitely feel free to join us, the Nintendo Pipeline Discord. You can find an invite link at the website. You can find it on Family Boards, all over the place there. Thank you to everybody who's checked out the Family Boards thread for the podcast. If you are listening for the first time, we do have a thread there, and it also includes an episode directory. So if there's any of our past episodes, or you're curious what's going on and you don't really want to go through Spotify or whatever to figure it out, we do have the summaries there. Lastly, just want to thank our guest today, Poochy, for joining. Poochy, is there a place that people can find you if they want to see more of what you do?
You can follow me on Twitter at Poochy Parker.
Sweet.
And yeah, thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you. And definitely check out that Twitter. Poochy does art, and they do very good art. So
thank you.
If you want to see some cool fan art, definitely check them out. And yeah, that's going to be it for today. Excuse me. Just choked on my own spit.
Oh, no.
That's going to be it for today. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace.